firm. No matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
That's right.
That's right. Good morning, everybody. Oh, wow, you got your stuff down pat. Yeah, let's stand and sing our first song. Woo!
That song is by our own Richard McDeesey. Is that great or what? Well, his wife, Reverend, what's her name?
I'll never forget what's her name.
No, we shan't. Paula is got, I think it's the end of vacation, more or less. Yep. So even though we know she's our starting quarterback, the best replacement off the bench is this guy right here, Tom Baker.
Put him in, Coach.
Filling in for Paula McDeesey, number 2, Tom
Paula's
Baker,
probably
number 2.
sitting with her grandbaby in her lap right now watching us. You can turn around and wave if you
There you go. And today, Tom is here to speak to us. He's going to be reading from the book of Monty Python, chapter 1, verse 1, the meaning of life. But I'll leave that up to Tom. Tom, of course, has been teaching here for many years. He is a former Catholic priest. Much like Matthew Fox, he was excommunicated. You're in good company, Tom, good company. Tom has taught the Course in Miracles at ARE and here, and he's got a great course coming up in October, The Destiny of Souls. It's about pretty much the afterlife and soul groups and that sort of thing too. And I don't know if it's going to be online, but certainly if you're interested, Tom always teaches a great course, and he will be teaching that this particular October. So I'm Christopher Naughton. I'll be sharing the dais with Star Janicki today and our great music team, which always is here to inspire us. So let's join together in sharing our vision and mission here at Unity Renaissance. So together, our vision is a spiritually awakened world, living in peace, love, and joy. And we bring that into the world through our mission, which is we transform lives that transform the world. So before we get into our talk today and some of the music, let's just take a moment maybe to close our eyes, to go within and realize that we are here to express God in this world. And we know that there is a storm coming up the coast. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take a page out of Wayne Dyer's book, which talks about us, about being gods and our ability to effectuate everything in our world. And so take a moment now and let's see that storm moving out to sea, away from Florida, away from the Carolinas, away from our own shores, knowing that in the end, our highest good will be demonstrated to us, but know that we are gods as well. And we can protect ourselves, and we can join with one another in seeing our highest and greatest good. And in the end, to quote the Course in Miracles, trust would solve every problem now.
Trust. Beautiful segue into this song. I trust in God. And it goes like this.
Divinity salute, the divine in me greets the divine in you, and we serve and celebrate together for the glory of God.
trust.
Good morning, Unity Renaissance. And we feel the joy, we feel the spirit, we feel the gratitude, and we are just so fortunate to be here and have this music team just elevate us every single week. My name is Star Janecki, and it is really a privilege and an honor to be here as your platform host this morning. And today's words for Sunday, September 1, 2019 already, abundant living. Would you please join together as we read our affirmation? I live joyously and abundantly. Living abundantly means living in gratitude without fear and without limitation. It's living with an awareness of my divine nature as an expression of light, life, love, and peace. In the spirit of gratitude, I notice the blessings that flow through me every day. I give thanks for each one, large or small, knowing I have all that I need. With God as my source, I have unlimited resources that I can summon from within at any time. I see beyond any negative appearance to the truth of my being. I am whole, I am complete, and I am able. My relationships are harmonious. My life is in order. I have enough to use and enough to share. For these truths, I breathe a prayer of thanks. Abundance is all around me. And our reading today is based on Luke chapter 6, verse 45. The good person out of the good treasure of the heart produces good. And as you know, we have prayer chaplains available to pray with you over your challenges and your celebrations after the service. And they can be found in the chapel, and all you need do is to step inside and you will be greeted. I'm going to ask our prayer chaplains to stand, and today it is Grace and Lisa. And then would we all stand now for the Lord's Psalm?
Holy Creator, we praise your name, your will in heaven and earth the same. Supply our need, Lord, from day to day. Let your forgiveness light our way. Lead us away from temptation's hold. Deliver us, Lord, into your fold. For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stay.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever.
Today is the day I will change my luck. I will find 3 pennies and they'll be heads up. I will walk like a queen with my tennies and jeans, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun, from the magical one, I am part of this thing called life. From the known and unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am one with this thing called life. Today is the day I'll remember to see only good, only God happening through you and me. I will not forget all the treasures to me, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun and the magical one, I am part of this thing called life. From the known and unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am part of this thing called life. Today I'll be more of myself. Love my skin, where I've been, and everyone else. No more push, no more pull. Simply flow as I go, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun and the magical one, and I'm part of this thing called life. From the known and unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. From the stars and the sun and the magical one, I am part of this thing called life. From the known and unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am one with this thing called life. I am one with this part called life.
Lily Scott.
My goodness. It's like a holy nightclub. Well, I'll get to the meaning of life in a moment. Okay, I want to start out with how I grew up. I grew up in a small family. There were just 4 of us, my parents and my sister and I. And when we ate dinner, we would eat off of one another's plates. It felt like sharing. It felt like harmony. Sometimes the whole family would eat one apple. Dad would take a bite, pass it on to my mother, who'd take a bite, pass it on to my sister, who then pass it on to me. Dad called it the Big Apple. I took it for granted that all families shared their food like this until I got married. Kathy and I were eating one night when I casually took a bite off of her plate. She immediately stabbed the table with her fork just an inch from my hand. Kathy is from a family of 8. So food was viewed as a possession to be defended from pilferers. As I carefully drew my hand away, I said, "It's all right, sweetheart, I come in peace." I was new at marriage and I had a lot to learn. But I especially had a lot to learn because of my philosophy of life. Well, I wouldn't have put it this way. What I believed about life was that the world was here to make me happy. The world was created to bring happiness to Tom Baker. When I was in the seminary, I dreamed that I would be given the perfect parish to make me happy. A little white church in a wooded area with well-adjusted parishioners and well-behaved children whose problems could be solved with a little fatherly advice and a quick prayer. It did not occur to me that people's lives were full of hurt and anger, and especially guilt, which the Catholic Church had encouraged. Well, my parishioners were not fairy tale figures. They were real people. And people are unpredictable, capable of heroism and unbelievable compassion, especially to their children, but also capable of mayhem, thoughtlessness, and a great deal of attitude. The human race was more than I had bargained for. It was not for me. It wasn't making me happy. So for this and several other reasons, I left the priesthood and joined the marriagehood. I thought that would make me happy. Kathy was my dream come true. She was there to make me happy. Poor Kathy. To ensure all went well, I wrote down some guidelines for her to follow. Yeah. I called it the Catechism of Marriage. It covered laundry, food preparation, social demeanor, sexual expectations, and conversational suggestions. She received it about how you're receiving it. She disappointed me in all the areas, and I pointed out all of these things, and she turned out to be a person, just like my parishioners. She was hurt, she was angry, but not nearly as guilty as those Catholics. When I threatened to replace her with a more agreeable model, she reminded me that she was a person, not an automobile, and that I had claimed to love her more than anything in the world. My catechism of marriage had included everything but love. So, what's the deal, Romeo? Romeo had to face a hard truth. The world was not created to make me happy. The happiness thing was not working out. The world was not complying with my wishes, and in fact, it never would. So I went to a psychic and asked her what the world was for. If the world is not here to make me happy, then what is the world for? Here's the meaning of life. Ears perked up now. The psychic said that the world was here to challenge me to love over and over again. Thank you. So no matter what happens or who I meet, the challenge is to love. Why? Because the people I loved most were the very ones I judged the most harshly. My parents, my best friends, and voila, my wife. Closeness invites judgment. Let me say that again. Closeness invites judgment. When I got home from seeing the psychic, my wife asked me how it had gone. I said, "You're my greatest treasure, and you're my biggest challenge to love." What do I do? Well, Kathy whipped out her catechism of love. It was short. 2 things to do and 1 thing to avoid. Here it is. First, be curious about who I am. Curiosity is at the heart of love. 2, accept and embrace what is different about me than you. In order to do that, you must be curious. Say to me, tell me more about that difference. Don't say, that difference is stupid. You can tell where I was coming from. And finally, what not to do, never criticize me. Curiosity is the opposite of criticism. The feeling when you're curious is wonder. The feeling when you criticize is superiority. So, she said, I'll do the same for you, and our love will grow with each passing year. After 27 years, it has been relatively easy to be curious about who Kathy is, because she's so mysterious about herself. Unlike me, she does not think the world would be interested in her every thought and notion. She's quiet, so I have to dig to find out who she is. And I've only dug up diamonds so far. Accepting and embracing her for what is different from me has been harder. I keep wanting to clone myself into Kathy. Do it like Tom does it. See it the way Tom sees it. Now, Kathy's very polite about this. She says she would make a very odd Tom Baker. And the world is better off with just one of me. And finally, the criticism. No criticism. This has been a revelation to me. I thought it would be impossible not to criticize her, because I was critical. I was just waiting to criticize. I was on my toes about criticism. It's been the easiest part of her catechism. Everything about her has a logical or at least a reasonable explanation. I need only ask, why do you want to dye your hair turquoise? It's my favorite color, and it's my hair. Also, criticizing someone is an attempt to reduce them to a caricature of themselves. You're clumsy, slow, and dull. Suddenly, that's all you are. You're trapped in the box of their judgment. Criticism is the opposite of curiosity. What I know about you for sure may be the biggest block to knowing you for real. What I don't know about you is where, with curiosity, I can begin to love you. Now think for a moment about the Dalai Lama. If you ask the Dalai Lama what religion he was, you would expect him to say Buddhism or Tibetan Buddhism. But he wouldn't say that. Dalai Lama has said that his religion is kindness. Now, religion can be complicated. There's the Eightfold Path, Four Noble Truths, the 10 Commandments, the 7 Deadly Sins, the 613 laws from the Torah, not to mention the art of meditation, the doctrine of transubstantiation, and the promise of the second coming. Lord. Yet the Dalai Lama steps forward and simplifies religion into kindness. My wife simplified love into curiosity. 2 words today, kindness and curiosity. When acted on from the heart, they cause the angels to bow their heads.
It's always an honor to be here when this man is here. We're so lucky, so fortunate in this church that we have the dynamism of a Reverend Paul McDeesey, and then, like I said, the first man off the bench, Tom Baker. Thank you, Tom. Let's take a moment to get quiet. Maybe sit up in our seats, put our feet on the ground, perhaps, whatever feels comfortable to you, and then just join me in a nice deep breath. Let's go to that place inside of ourselves, that mysterious place, that place of great curiosity. Who are we? Who are we really? Where do we leave off and God begins? What is this consciousness we call the Christ? That is who we are. And for a moment or three, let's bathe in that consciousness. Let us be present in that consciousness. Let us be grateful for that consciousness. This place of holy oneness, this place where we are all together, where we are one. Our curiosity leads us here. And for this and all that is, we are grateful. I'd like to invite a board member, Lee Pennypacker, to join us up here on stage at this moment. Once a month, we bring a board member up here to discuss a prosperity and abundant moment. And I think Lee is stepping down off the board this year, so this might be his last great blast. So, Lee, it's all yours.
Well, yes, it is my last great gasp. And I'd just like to say thank you for allowing me to share some of these moments, this Sunday moments with you. As Chris mentioned, each of the board members have been asked to share what prosperity means to them. And I had a lot of time to think about it, about a month or so. What I felt most inspired to bring up was what Unity Renaissance has done through me through volunteering and taking part in what many groups and activities there are with Unity Renaissance. Am I okay? Okay. So let's go back to 1993 when my wonderful bride Jolene was searching for a spiritual home. something less dogmatic and a little more accepting than what she was accustomed to. I was perfectly content to be sitting at home on Sunday morning waiting for the football game to start. But anyway, after some searching, she came into Unity Renaissance and was very pleased, very surprised, but also very glad. And she came home and she said, I think I found the place. And I said, that's nice. And so she continued to come, and I continued to stay home for a few months. And over time, she kept nudging me and cajoling and suggesting, why don't you give it a try? Why don't you try it? So I then agreed and attended my first service, and boy, was I not prepared for what I experienced. It was a little different than what I was accustomed to, so it took a little bit of time for me to come around and start to really understand and accept what these wonderful people are that make up Unity Renaissance. So, I myself was somewhat conservative and reserved, that I preferred to stay in the background, not really take part in too much overt activity. But Jolene, on the other hand, she likes to get out and get her feet dirty. So she, after some time, she volunteered to become a greeter, and after a few weeks, she recruited me into it. Now, my first response to that was, okay, I'll do that. I love you. I'm there for you. I'm a team player, but I was not very receptive to the open showing of affection that we usually enjoy so much here. So I was one of those people that was very quick to extend my hand to avoid the hug. But after time, I came around, started feeling, this is really something special. And I just, the switch happened, and boom, I love hugs now. So that was probably the most rewarding experience of that little side path I took. Well, Jolene also was she was also a member of the counting team. Now, the counting team is responsible for the collection that's taken on the Sunday service. Some members of the congregation will secure themselves, and they will document and record all of the contributions that are brought in, and then those are then secured to the safe. And during the midweek, then the staff would come in and finalize and make the deposit. Well, lo and behold, it's the counting team is, I don't think how many people know about it. It's one of the unsung heroes of our volunteer program, and the staff really appreciated us, which made me, as a somewhat reluctant recruit that came to appreciate it, as very much that I wasn't seeking glory or anything or overt recognition, but it was nice to get just the thank you and the appreciation from the staff, because they didn't have to do it. We do that for several years, and then things change, and we decide, well, we need a break from that. So we step out and continue on, and then we get a little tap on the shoulder. Our minister, Reverend Paula, taps Jolene on the shoulder and says, hey, would you like to take part? Would you like to be a member of the kickoff committee for the capital campaign breakthrough? Well, of course, Jolene's like, sure. And I was like, okay. So anyway, it was a very short time, because once it got up and running, it ran itself, and it was very successful, and we were both very honored to have been a part of that. So Jolene, as I said, she's the one who's more overt than me. I'm the one who's somewhat likes to sit in the back and try to be unobserved. But a couple of board members came to me and suggested that, you know, you might like to put your application in to become a board member. And I was like, I don't think so. That just did not settle with my idea of what I thought the job entailed and what I could give. So fortunately, those board members had a different opinion of me, and they were persistent in encouraging me to make my application. And thankfully, this lovely congregation saw the same thing in me and elected me to the board. So now I'm on the board of trustees. What do I do? I'm overwhelmed, self-imposed, but quickly I realized that, you know, I'm not the sole driver in this ship. I'm a team member, and what a wonderful group of individuals. I have something here that I wrote that I want to read because I'm kind of proud of it, but let me find it here. Well, you know, maybe I better, since my notes are a mess. Just let me say that serving on the board the last 2.5 years has been really a tremendous experience, and I am so grateful for those board members who recognized that I could do this and that I could contribute, and the congregation who acknowledged that. It's just been my honor and extreme pleasure to have been serving in that capacity for the last 2.5 years. And you know, so from a prosperity standpoint, we're not talking money, we're not talking financial rewards, we're talking what service means. And for me, being able to serve and give something back has probably been the most rewarding and exciting experience that I can say. So with that, I would just like to conclude that if any of the people out here that got that little itch, don't wait to be tapped on the shoulder. You know, seek out opportunities, because there's a ton of them here. And you will be welcomed, guaranteed, with open arms. And I think you'll get as much out of it, if not more, than what I enjoyed. Thank you again for your time.
Two quick points. One is thank God for the women in our lives. And you know, you think about it, Myrtle Fillmore was the one who really led Charles into all of this. Let's not forget that. That's one of the reasons we're all here today. Thank you, Myrtle. And the second point is that you look at a guy like Lee Pennypacker and you realize here's a guy who stepped outside of his comfort zone, right? And so he was generous with his spirit. So, segue here, this is the time in our service where we do give. And for many of us at some point in time, you know, to put that extra 0 at the end of our number might have been a challenge, but who among us here has not felt the return of that generosity? In supply, in abundance of spirit, in love. That's what we demonstrate, that's what we live. That's how we demonstrate our love here at Unity Renaissance. And there are many ways to give, of course, whether you give from your checking account, or if it's an automatic draft from your checking account, or if you have money in your hand, you're holding that or your check. I would ask you to do that. There's one other way to give, Richard, isn't there?
Text to 543.
He shortened it up. So together, let's say these words and remind ourselves that divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Giving is giving back to you. Giving is giving back to you. Giving is giving back to you. Press down, shaking together, running over. It's giving back. Lloyd's take on the meaning of life.
Don't touch, don't talk, don't run, don't walk, don't stop, don't go, don't rock the boat. Oh no. From the day you were born, you were taught what not to do. Well, I just talked to God and she told me to tell you, thou shalt enjoy, thou shalt explore, thou shalt embrace, thou shalt seek more, thou shalt be happy where you are while following what's in your heart. Thou shalt be dancing in the street, thou shalt see God in those you meet. Thou shalt enjoy. Oh yeah. Don't dare, don't doubt, don't share, don't shout, don't laugh, don't cry, don't think, don't question why. From the day we were born, we were taught what not to do. Again, I just talked to God and he told me to tell you, thou shalt enjoy, thou shalt explore, thou shalt embrace, thou shalt seek more, thou shalt be happy where you are while following what's in your heart. Thou shalt be dancing in the street, thou shalt see God in those you meet. Thou shalt enjoy.
Yeah, yeah.
Thou shalt enjoy. Thou shalt be wise and kind. Thou shalt take your time. Thou shalt be full of love. Thou shalt feel good enough. And above all else, thou shalt be true to one's own self. Thou shalt enjoy, thou shalt explore, thou shalt embrace, thou shalt seek more, thou shalt be happy where you are while following what's in your heart. Thou shalt be dancing in the street, thou shalt see God in those you meet. Thou shalt enjoy, thou shalt explore, thou shalt embrace, thou shalt seek more, thou shalt be happy where you are while following what's in your heart. Thou shalt be dancing in the street, thou shalt see God in those you meet. Thou shalt enjoy. Oh yeah, thou shalt enjoy. Thou shalt relax, take a breath, and enjoy.
Boy Black.
Unity 101, right there. It's your first time here. Don't worry about it. Just play that song, and that's pretty much it. What a treasure. I mean, Boyd and Lily and Richard and Nick, who's not here today. What an incredible treasure. You talk about our abundance. And speaking of abundance, why don't we bring the gifts forward? This is an abundant spiritual center. And not just here on Sundays, but the courses we have during the week, the many recreations and the things that we support here. So for all of these gifts, hi Violet, what a beautiful, and violet and purple, perfect colors today. So for all of these gifts, the gifts of our treasure, the gifts of our children, the gifts of our spirit, gifts of John Root has come back to join us today. All those great gifts, we say thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. Come on up, Star. If I didn't know John was going to be here, we would have had him come up here today. So if you're here today for the first, second, or third time, we'd like to hear from you, or at least see you raise a finger of 1, 2, or 3, and tell them what they win.
Okay. There is a gift for every single time, 1, 2, or 3. For the first time, and this is a third visitor here, for the
That's
first
a big
time
prize.
you get a packet of information regarding unity, and inside there is a card that if you fill that out and take it to the welcome desk, you'll get a CD of a previous service. Second time, you get 2 CDs. One is a Unity classic recording, and 2 is a CD of positive music, compliments of Empower Music and Arts. And the third time
There's
you
a small Kia car. Under your
Yeah.
seat, you'll see a little slip of
I
paper.
haven't seen the car.
It's a small car.
I haven't seen
It's
the
in
car.
consciousness.
Third time you get a copy of the Daily Word, which is our devotional from which I was reading this morning. So we've got a 3 here. Anyone else?
Welcome. Thank you for
Yes.
coming back, coming here for the first time or coming back again. We appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you so
And you
much.
know what is really amazing is you can come in here with the challenges on your heart that you just think that they're never going to be resolved, and then all of this music just lifts us right up. I love it.
Absolutely,
I love it.
absolutely. I think it's time for we have a couple of quick spotlights today. Who's our first spotlight? Is it
Let's see, Tony.
Tony? Is it Tony? That is, yes. Come on up. He appeared.
Oh, that was, go ahead. You take your turn, and then we'll do Richard. Richard was first. I'm so sorry, Richard.
I'm patient.
I'm teaching the kids patience today. I can wait.
So can Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? Been asked to come up today to point out that it's that time of year again where we're soliciting nominations for board members. At this point, you can submit yourself. I'll have packets out here in the narthex. If you want to come out and talk with us a little bit about it, I'd be happy to do that. The minimum requirements are that you have 2 consecutive years as a member and that you attend a finance committee meeting and then also a board meeting. And I think you have to have all that done before the end of December. So please come on out and talk with us, if you will. And then I don't think anybody shared it yet, at least not in this service, but today is Tom Baker's birthday.
Stand up, Tom. Here we go. Y'all ready? Happy birthday.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. 69.
39.
Now we'll go right to Richard. Segue.
All right, thank you. So this is, we're getting ready to dive into what Mary Morrissey calls a 7-week experiment with our prosperity and all the quadrants of prosperity in our life, which includes our job, our relationships, as well as our financial prosperity and our consciousness. So it's a beautiful program that's been tried and true. We looked at many prosperity classes to teach here, and this is the one that jumped out at us as perfect for our awesomely well-advanced congregation. So hope you'll join us. And I've got the sign-up sheet. I'll be at the help desk to sign you up. There's a $55 charge for the materials. You'll get all of the DVDs that we'll be watching in class. So if you miss a week, you can go back and watch the DVDs yourself. It's got workbooks and a diary in there. A lot of materials for you. So come see me if you want to know more. Starts this Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
And you've got another.
Whew! Back to back. Oh,
Yes.
I love creating beautiful services with Ann DeMichael. She's our chaplain, our head chaplain here. And every year, Unity began the World Day of Prayer almost 25 years ago, and now we are every Thursday, the second Thursday of September is World Day of Prayer, and it's celebrated all over the world in all Unity churches and at Unity Village in a beautiful celebration. So we join in that consciousness on Thursday night with a beautiful prayer service. So we invite you to join, come out for that and share in that consciousness of prayer. World Day of Prayer, Thursday night, September 11th, 12th, September 12th.
Okay, and we give kudos to our PowerPoint person because we're doing everything
Jumping out of order.
However,
You're out of order.
yes, we are out of order. Anyway, on Friday evening, this Friday, we're showing a film in our Higher Consciousness series, and it's called Lilies of the Field. And it's a story about a group of nuns who are really needing some handyman help. And lo and behold, here comes Sidney Poitier to take care of whatever they need.
Out of nowhere, completely plausible.
I was going to say, if I knew that kind of, magic, I would be using it. But anyway, it's free to the public. Bring your friends. It's a great film. Free popcorn, water, and so on, and discussion afterwards.
Yeah. East German nuns in the desert. Who knew,
Yes.
right? Also, Unity of Tidewater and Unity Renaissance are partnering up to welcome in. We're going to go out of order. No, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Take two.
They're doing a good job.
I know. Thank you. Again, this is Saturday, September 21st, 5 p.m. And again, at Unity of Tidewater, co-sponsors, there's going to be a feature of 333 Tibetan healing bowls, chakra chocolate, always good, and essential oils. And volunteers are needed, so only 22 will be permitted to volunteer because they get in free. And you can sign up on the hall wall, and tickets are now available in the bookstore.
They need a lot of volunteers still, so come and play.
They do. Okay, great.
Okay, great. All right, and I think next Saturday, okay, sure, come on up, Eddie.
Come on,
We're
Eddie.
all, out of order anyway. So, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Unity. I am here to recruit facilitators for our upcoming spiritual discovery groups. These are groups of 7 to 8 congregants who meet either in individual homes or at the church to explore their spiritual journeys together. And as our own Tom Baker has said, we don't really understand our spiritual journey until we give voice to it. So there is a book involved. I want to assure you this is not an academic study, but an inward journey that you share with others. And we do provide facilitator training. I'm going to show you how easy it is because we're going to do that right now in a call and response, kind of like we do affirmations. So here is our facilitator's mantra. It's not about me.
It's not about me.
I don't have the answers.
I don't have the answers.
There's nothing to fix anyway.
There's nothing to fix anyway.
If you resonate with that, you will resonate with being a facilitator in our spiritual discovery groups. Facilitate simply means to make easy. What is it you're going to make easy? You're going to make it easy for the people in your group to live the, I guess you call it another mantra, everyone matters, everyone belongs, everyone is a contribution. I'll be at the welcome desk also.
Thank you.
A crowded welcome desk out.
Okay, on Saturday from 9 to noon, we are excited to welcome Kelly Stubbs, who is going to do a workshop on the teachings and what is taught by Byron Katie, and that is a meditative type workshop where you're going to do self-inquiry to see where you can reduce the stress in your life, etc. There is a love offering of $20. Please sign up on the hall wall. And you know that anything we do here, you're never, ever turned away for the love offering.
Exactly. And the second week of September is always a big week here. It's the SEE week. It's the Spiritual Education week here at Unity Renaissance. And some great classes. If you haven't been, try them out. There's a lot of meditation practices, Unity prayer. I love the Gnostic Gospels and the Mary Magdalene courses that they shared with us last year. Instructors are Reverends Paula and Richard McDeasy, Ogun Holder, and Elizabeth Mora, who is a former, I think, Unity minister from up in New Jersey. And the cost is $80 per class, $45 for additional for credit. Register online or via the brochure in the narthex.
Yes, and always take your bulletin home because there's been so many spotlights and messages that it's very easy to miss one, and that is good refrigerator decoration. Okay, on Saturday at 4 o'clock, there will be a celebration of life for everybody's best friend, Charlie Bowman. And you're all invited, and we look forward to that service. So please put that on your schedule and make sure that you come. And you'll have a chance to speak if you'd like to, as we all will. Okay, I think that's it. Yes.
Let's bring him on in.
Use your microphone.
Good morning. Good morning. Our Wow You group is in the middle of a very deep conversation right now, so they're staying there and won't be with us. But they're with us in spirit. Who's going to be sharing from kindergarten, first grade? Violet.
We learned about patience.
Yay!
And Sienna, what have you got?
I have a song.
You have a song.
I am patient, I can wait, for my good will not be late. Yes, I know that good will come, because in God has already done.
Thank you. Okay, who goes first? Kai? Oh, you go. Kai?
Today we learned about God, and we read this book called The Old Turtle. And it's about other people arguing about what God is or what he is not. And at the end, God tells everybody that God is everything.
Right.
And Jeremiah.
Today's affirmation in our class was, I am a loving, caring, kind, peaceful, joyful God.
Very much. Good, hand it back. And if you please stand and join us for the prayer for protection and the peace song. Am I doing this?
So together, let's go ahead and join in. Are we ready? Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is swell.